Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to mydeepguide. Today I'm going to explore one of the things that if you're a Boox user or a potential Boox user, if you've looked into the Boox platform, there is a chance that in your research you have ran into comments by people asking or saying and hearing the phrase, "Oh, Boox phones home." And basically Boox devices are nefarious and they have this kind of tendency to actually send your data home to China. And there's like a tremendous amount of misinformation as far as that one goes. So I wanted to gather enough information and experience as far as that goes to actually make a complete video about this issue. So let's get going and see what is this issue of Boox phoning home, what does it exactly entail, and can you do something to actually circumvent it? Alright, so let's get going. What is the issue that I'm talking about? What is this about Boox devices phoning home? Well, some of you are probably aware of that kind of some information circulating online about how Boox devices are a security risk because they are phoning home. Some of you are not aware of that issue at all. So I wanted to address that and issue a work around it so that if you have some concerns about it, that you can actually dispel those. So first and foremost, we need to analyze and show what the issue is. In order to do that, we need internet monitoring app, something that is helping determine and tell us and show us precisely what each service or app or process on this device is doing and when is it requesting a communication out with the outside world, to whom it is requesting a communication with the outside world, and then we can infer some information from that. The best app to use to monitor this and to circumvent the problem is called NetGuard. This is a really good app for many things, but for this works especially good because it's super easy to use. It's free, but if you find it useful, I always think that it's a good idea to support the developer if you're actually using an app and you find it useful and it's something that solves a problem that you might have had or makes your life easier. Well, if an app has a pro option, even if you don't care about the pro option, it's a good idea to support the developer because they made your life easier. So if you find the NetGuard to be a useful thing, then you should get a pro, consider at least getting a pro license. Now, when I turned on the NetGuard, you need to flip the switch on to turn it on. Once it's turned on, it will tell you, basically you will have a list. Let me just switch to A2 mode here. There we go. So you have a list of all of the processes and apps on your device. Now, generally speaking, you will see both of your installed applications such as Audible, AutoSync, BBC News, even Gboard. And you will also have these dedicated icons here with the little Android icon. So when you actually find those icons, those are system services and processes. So this is what makes the NetGuard so particularly useful, because it exposes everything that the device has on itself. Now, how do we see the problem? Well, we go to three dots and we go to show log. And for now, I'm just going to clear the log. And what this log is going to show, we're going to wait a little bit, but it's going to start soon enough. It is showing each time an app is communicating with the outside world. So in this case, you had like 4 pings or 4 ticks that Spotify was requesting access and communication with 4 different IPs with a Spotify, such as App Resolve Spotify, APG EW4, Dealer Spotify, Login Spotify. And then you start getting this one here, which doesn't actually define itself who it is, and it's going somewhere yun.tim.qq.com. So if you tap on this one, you will see you will see the identifier. Who is this? So you'll have KSync. That is the name of the process that is the offending process that people are mentioning or talking about. Now you have also the additional things, and you can go to who is the IP address that was accessed and what is the port and all that kind of stuff. And if you do actually do that, you will see that this is the QQ thing. What's it called? The unteamqq.com. That's a cloud service. So that leads me to believe that this is just an ordinary ping that a device does to actually say, hey, am I hooked up? Do I need to synchronize anything? Am I hooked up? Do I need to synchronize anything? At least that's what it looks like. But then shortly after, you start seeing a heck of a lot more pings, and they are all from KSync. And then they start actually pinging some other places, such as 162.62, just like a IP there. And if you start checking this out, you will see these are different storage services, cloud services, and things like that. But every so often, sometimes you will also get a ping. I don't know if we're going to catch it on camera or not, because it's not regular, but sometimes it's going to send a ping to Alibaba, for example, or AliExpress. I think AliExpress it was. And that's like, okay, so what the cloud storage works, but why would you need to ping or send even a server tick to AliExpress? That's something that I'm not happy with. Now, the first thing I want to dispel is the first bit of misinformation that's circulating around this information or around this issue is that, oh, they're sending my data and my notebooks to, I don't know, AliExpress. That's complete nonsense. So I used a completely different app on a PC, and I'm not going to show that because it's way too complicated to set it up and capture and all that kind of stuff just to show a single thing. But basically, you can capture communication from your specific device that's going via your router, and you can monitor the packets. I can't see what is sent, but I can see the data that has been sent to whom in bytes. And none of these pings are anything more than just ticks or pings a couple of bytes, even just, a handful of bytes large. They never get even into hundreds of bytes, let alone kilobytes. So the notion that any of your notebook or personal notebook information is being sent physically, that is not happening. So that is not what this is doing. However, this is still sending some bits, and no bits sent is better than some bits sent, especially when they are not clarified. But you can also see that it's a part of a normal kind of functionality of an Android tablet that it does want to communicate. Apps need to communicate and establish communication, if for no other reason than to just verify, hey, am I online? So it sends a ping to a server, specific server, do I have connection to you? The server says, yep, you got it, and that's it. Then it waits, and then like 2 minutes later, hey, are we still, can you hear me? Yep, I can hear you, and that's pretty much it. So that's normal. That's absolutely normal. But what is not, for me, okay, is that all of it is coming from one system that is never clarified what it is or what does it do. The very first time that I started exploring this, I was thinking, hey, maybe the built-in library, the library that you have here, that you can disable, maybe that's the one that's actually doing it, but it's not. The KSync doesn't have any thing to do with it, and as you can see, it's fairly kind of persistent, but it also is accessing Microsoft Corporation. That's the UnTeamQQ, so that is basically the cloud server, and yeah, it's doing other things. So that's the source of the problem. This is the issue that people were mentioning, so I want to demystify it, present it, what it is, what it's not, and if you want to, how you can prevent it. Because if I now put on my Nova here and I go to NetGuard on it and I go to show log, and if I do a clear log and we wait a little bit on it, so let's have them both in the frame and clear out logs and see how do they behave after a little bit of time. All right, so we have already one tick from KSync, no ticks on the Nova Air. Let's fast forward a little bit. All right, so it's been around 5 minutes, and as you can see on the Nova Air, we had one ping from Kindle checking out, hey, am I hooked up, and one ping from Google Play Store, right? And on the Note Air, which doesn't have the fix applied, we had one ping from nothing. Basically, this is just a system, doing whatever. And we had 5 pings to Team QQCC. All 5 were to the same place, and all 5 were done by that process KSync. So let's move this little one away. And yeah, I ran the test on the Nova Air with the fix, and that one, even after a couple of hours, like 2-3 hours, not a single KSync process ping has appeared since. So let's see, now that we know what the problem is and we have identified the culprit, now we need to show you how to get rid of that KSync attempting to phone home. So the very first thing when you actually turn on your NetGuard is, again, I have to repeat, is you have to switch it on, because by using that little switch on the side, otherwise it will be off. And you can see it as this little icon here because it's technically a VPN. Once you've done that, instead of browsing and trying to find it like that, you have a little search icon here. So just go into the search and you type KSync, and there's the process. All right, so now we have our process here, and we want to do a couple of things to it. Now, your natural inclination would be to block its access or go to the settings. Don't do any of these things. And as you can actually see here that, can I get rid of the keyboard? Well, it doesn't matter, you can see it anyway. So these are the access attempts that this app has been doing. They have been all logged here, and then you can actually explore them in more details. But we want to get rid of its access. So you do 3 things. First one, you will see icons here for wireless and for mobile network data access. So just tap on one, Wi-Fi is now off and denied, and for good measure, let's not give it mobile data access at all. But that's not enough. That's not enough, because it will circumvent certain rules. So this one, by default, apply rules and conditions is on for every process and system, and that basically is, it allows it the necessary or the mandatory rules and conditions that the app has defined. So just tick that off, and now effectively you have completely blocked KSync from access to the outside world. It can attempt to do whatever it wants, but its access to any kind of internet has been completely walled off and blocked. So now that you have done that, let's go to show log, and now let's clear out our log, and let's leave this for a little bit and see. So what we have, 12:59, I'll be back in 13:05 and see if we've had any KSync attempts made. All right, here we are, 13:06, and we've had 3 pings from YouTube app and 1 ping to android.google.apps or googleapps.com from Google Play services. And that's it. So no KSync process is attempting to phone home anymore. Hooray! That is a good thing. All right, in order to actually show you how to set everything up from scratch, I'm going to uninstall my copy of NetGuard and start from scratch. So I'm going to go to Play Store, I'm going to go and search for NetGuard, and I do have a pro license for it, so I don't know if it's going to automatically install the pro version or not, but we will see. And now I'm gonna tap on it for the very first time. Hopefully, yeah. So you have to agree to the privacy policy. Managing all system apps can be enabled in the settings. Okay. You can now allow greenish or reddish Wi-Fi and mobile internet access. If you installed NetGuard to protect your privacy, you might be interested in fair email open source. Okay. Internet access is allowed by default. This can be changed, and incoming push messages are mostly handled by the system component play services, blah blah. All right, so first you have to agree and take notice of these notifications there. And there's a couple of things that you have to do to ensure that the NetGuard can actually work properly and that you have access to all of the options. So first we're going to enable it. And it's going to say, hey, I need to use a VPN to filter internet traffic. For this reason, you need to allow the VPN connection in the next dialog. And if you cannot press OK in the next dialog, app is likely manipulating the screen. Okay, so you click OK and it says, hey, do you want to allow this app to set up a VPN connection? And you need to say OK. And then you will have the icon here. Right? Okay. Now the next thing is, for consistent results, the Android battery optimizations should be disabled for NetGuard. Otherwise, various app optimizations can actually disable NetGuard in the background from running. So in order to do that, we need to tap on OK. It's going to take us to battery optimization. Now here we're going to switch to all apps. Now you scroll until you find N for NetGuard. There we go. And it has remembered my previous setting. So you will likely have it as optimized, and then you need to switch it to don't optimize. Click on done and you can go and click on back. All right, so now we got the permissions and all that kind of stuff set up for the NetGuard. The next step is to configure the NetGuard itself so that it can give us access to all of the slightly more advanced functionality that we need in order to block the KSync from doing all of these things. In order to do that, you tap on the three dots here for more options. And now we need to actually go to settings. And I believe options, no, then it would be advanced options. So let's go back and advanced options, I think. Yes. So first of all, because KSync is a system app, we need to allow NetGuard to manage system apps. Second of all, we need to log internet access and also to filter traffic. Okay, so that it can filter traffic. All right. So now that we have all of that sorted out, I believe that's all of the settings. We will see shortly if I forgot something or not. Yeah, well, we've done that. So why are you telling me again? It's not optimized and not optimized. So we are good. I don't know why he's still telling me these things. So let's turn it on. Okay. Maybe he's just saying consistently until you kind of do it. Anyway, we've already done that, so that's fine. So let's try and find KSync. Good, it has found it, and good, we are able to uncheck the apply rules and conditions. So if you don't allow the NetGuard to manage system apps, when you perform the KSync search, you won't find anything. If you don't enable filtering and logging of traffic, you will not. This option here will be grayed out and you won't be able to disable it completely. So this means that now we can just tell no internet for you, and no, you may not overcome any rules. All right. And now if we go, there's one last thing to do. So we can just go back and in the apps. So I'm still in the apps here. I can go to more options here to go to app management. And then I want to go into auto start settings. And I want to turn on Find My NetGuard, and I want to enable it to auto start when my tablet starts. That way I don't have to remember to start it up or anything like that. It will automatically start up, set up the VPN through here, and it will filter out the KSync from the get-go, or whatever you may have set up. So now if we go back in, that is now effectively your NetGuard set up properly. So let us go into show log, enable the log, there we go, and we need to wait a little bit and see if KSync appears or not. And all right, so we've been a little bit over 5 minutes. We had 3 pings from YouTube, 3 pings from Google Photos, and 1 ping from Google Play Store, but no pings from KSync, which is excellent because that's exactly what we were looking for. So that means that the NetGuard is set up correctly. And the final thing to double check is to restart the tablet and see if we're gonna get that little key icon, which is an indication that NetGuard is filtering things through. Alright, so it is starting up. There we go, NetGuard and our little VPN are already in or on. And we can see that NetGuard is blocking one and all is good. So this is how you set up NetGuard from scratch if you are concerned about the KSync process and what it does, and you just don't want to allow it to do that. Now, words of warning, caution, or things like that. So what can I think of here? Because I haven't been testing this out too thoroughly, and you are effectively blocking a system process. I don't know exactly, nor can I guarantee that this won't make some issues in the future or limitations for the tablet, how it actually functions, because I don't know what that KSync process is actually pinging and trying to establish. This is something that I will ask Boox and see if they provide the reply for that. But what I do know is that, and what I have successfully tested, is that, for example, if I go into notebooks here and here, and I start my notebook here testing NetGuard, for example, and I add more notes here, right? And then I exit, and then I let it synchronize. So now it's synchronizing. And once it's done, it will be fully sync, and you will see that Nova Air is automatically pinging and receiving that something has changed for this notebook. And if I open it, I add more notes here, and the KSync fix, or the blockade of the KSync, is applied on both of these notebooks. I'm able to browse internet normally, I'm able to use my Google Play normally, and most importantly, the only important thing that I want from Boox's services is the synchronizations of notebooks. So that's the one that I've tested, and with the blockade of KSync, this works fine. So as you've seen here in one take. So that one works perfectly fine. If this is going to affect, what other things could it affect? Well, maybe it could affect the detection of updating the OS, or honestly, I don't know. Nothing else actually comes to mind what else could be, but I haven't tested Pushbooks, I haven't tested any of these other services, so maybe KSync has something to do with those, but that's something that you'll have to kind of test out. This is the only one and the most important one that was there for me, so I wanted to test it out, because otherwise this would be a deal breaker for me, because I need this to actually function seamlessly between these two, because I use them equally. This one on the go, this one in the studio. So that's pretty much it, and so far it works pretty much fine, but I'll be testing it further, and if I find some more info, I'll be sure to share that with you guys here. All right, so that is the way that you can bypass that whole Boox phoning home type of an issue. To me personally, it looks like, from everything that I could gather and see, that it's a very standard server pinging, because the frequency of it and where it goes and the consistency of it, all of that, and the amount of data packets that are being sent and how they're being sent, that all kind of tracks with, as you've seen, other apps are doing, such as YouTube, Spotify, Audible, Kindle, all of the apps that have some kind of a login, they have to ping their server in periodically to see what their status is. That's actually unfortunately normal. But there's two things I don't like about this one. First of all, I don't know what KSync is and what it is doing. I'm just assuming that it is one of the normal logging services, but even after blocking it, I'm having normal functionality for the things that I do need. So what exactly is it doing and what kind of service it is? Now, if you come from Autodesk or Adobe world, you will know that these monstrosities of services, they install these whole freaking packages of monitoring services, communication services, and things like that. So this is the background that I'm coming from a workstation where you have to battle these services and processes and things like that with main culprits for me, most horrible culprits, are Autodesk and Adobe. It's absolutely terrible what they are doing. So if I come from that aspect and I see a tablet and a service that has just one service that's occasionally pinging a server, that's like beyond normal. But if you are coming from paper and pen type of thing, and then you read online and somebody says, oh, Boox tablet is sending your notebooks, your precious notebooks and writings to China, and then somebody's reading them there, that's absolutely absurd. But I do understand why somebody could get anxious about that, but that's not what's happening. First of all, no one cares about what we write. Second of all, we have AI to do that, not like manual labor, because handwriting recognition, hint, hint, like all that kind of stuff. So with theories of conspiracy things kind of aside, this looks like a service that's doing something, and I don't like not knowing what it is doing, who it is communicating to, and even if it's sending a byte, I don't like it sending a byte that I don't know where it's going. So that's why I do prefer blocking it and seeing if I can run my Boox tablets without that KSync doing whatever it was doing. I don't want it to do that if I can run my Boox devices normally. The second point of concern was that occasionally, I didn't catch it here on camera, but occasionally it will, I think to AliExpress or Alibaba, I'm not sure which one, but one of them, it does ping to it. It's again a tiny data packet, so it's not sending any tremendous amount of data, but still it is pinging it for whatever reason, and that's another thing that I don't like. So with those things in mind, that's why I wanted to explore this and find an option that is easily accessible to any user, so that you can easily implement this solution and also be worry-free, because once you do implement it, then your Boox device is behaving like absolutely any other Android phone or tablet, and that Boox phone home issue is basically resolved. I hope you found the video interesting and informative and useful. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description down below. And if you do like the work that I do, then you are welcome to check out My Daily Organizer. My Daily Organizer has been carefully designed to offer a comprehensive yet effortless all year round experience. If used daily and in a recommended fashion, My Daily Organizer, or MDO for short, can significantly improve your productivity, effectiveness, and efficiency in both professional and personal settings. Full interactivity with over 11,000 hyperlinks spreading throughout the entire document, dedicated Monday and Sunday week start versions of the document, full year calendar with access to any month, quarter, and day of the year, quarterly organizer also with access to the months and the days of the selected quarter, monthly organizer with quick links to weeks each day, and also some room for organization organizational and planning notes for that month. Weekly Organizer is also available with access to each day of the week, and you also have one extra weekly notes page. The Daily Organizer side offers a daily planner page, 2 dedicated note pages, and a diary page for each day of the year, which can help keep track of your short and long-term goals. And you also have access to 99 cataloged and numbered My Notes pages, and the same thing with 99 cataloged My List pages. There are 3 different cover styles to choose from depending on your personal preference, and there's also a dedicated left-handed version of the MDO created especially for the Remarkable platform. MDO has multi-platform compatibility for the Remarkable, Supernote, and Boox platforms. It can and will work on other platforms as well. Main prerequisites are that the platform has a dedicated PDF reader with support for writing annotations into the PDF and, of course, hyperlink functionality. If you would like to learn more about how MDO works, check the videos in the My Daily Organizer playlist in the description below. Or if you already like how MDO sounds and it's something that can help you better organize your professional and or personal life, then you can buy it at mydeepguide.com/shop. My Daily Organizer 2023 is now in production and it is scheduled to be released in September. So that's something to also keep in mind. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!